So I'm the kind of guy who moves really fast, and I'm always flying from one location to the next just because that's the way life is sometimes. I found this really cool spot in Mount Hope, just 5 minutes off of Upper James. Now, we're gonna go in and meet Chef Matt Beasley at this cool little takeout spot called the Pigeon. Behind the scenes here in the Pigeon Kitchen with Chef Matt Beasley.
Good to see you.
Great to see you again, my friend. What are you making for us today?
So we're gonna do a couple versions of our fried chicken. We're gonna do the classic and we're gonna do the buffalo for you today.
Love it. I have heard so many things about this fried chicken.
It kind of happened by default. The fried chicken became our popular dish just by by our guests' decisions. So we didn't plan it that way initially, but that's the way it's kind of gone. So we're just gonna roll with it and
I love it.
give
You
them what
listen,
they want, right?
and you deliver. Let's see it.
Okay. So boneless, skinless roaster thighs, so really, really big.
Yeah.
About 7 ounces or so. We just let it soak in buttermilk for 24 to 36 hours.
That's a good soak time on those.
Yeah, so you have to be a little bit ahead on it, but it really breaks the chicken down, makes it nice and tender.
Yeah.
So it's in there. Just the key is really working the chicken in. You want to get it in all of those little crevices. That's why we went with the thigh instead of a breast, because you have those little nooks and crannies. And you get some really nice little chunky bits.
That's the best part. See, there's a pro tip for anybody who's doing their own fried chicken. Really work it.
So that's going to cook for about 15 minutes or so. We cook it at about 300 degrees, so the inside gets a chance to cook all the way through without burning the batter on the outside.
Oh yeah, that's a little lower than the average sort of kitchen fryer temp. That's
usually
great.
around 350 for French fries. So yeah, we keep it low like this, and then we'll have the other fryer be a little bit higher for our fries, so
right
get
on.
it nice and crispy.
Look at how crispy that is. With all those pieces, all those extra little sort of chunky bits by giving it that squeeze is very evident.
Yeah, you're gonna lose a little bit. You're gonna go through a lot more breading that way. You can just lightly toss it, but you sacrifice the breading to get that crisp. It's worth it in the end.
Well, that's totally worth it. You're right.
And that'll hold up against the sauce as well. So we can sauce it. We can be very liberal with our garnishes on that, and the crisp will still hold up, which I think is really, really key to a good fried chicken sandwich. So that guy's ready to go. We're gonna let that kind of rest and just kind of hang out a bit. Let some of the oil come off it.
Yeah.
We have our Frank's Red Hot getting ready here for our buffalo sauce, and then a big liberal amount of butter.
So this is how you make your buffalo sauce.
This is it, yeah. So it's just Frank's and butter. It's nothing overly complicated.
So why is it that you're putting cold butter in? Because you could easily just melt that butter and stir it in. Why is it that you're putting cold butter
Well, this
in?
will allow the milk solids and the milk fat to emulsify into the sauce. If you've already melted down, it'll separate, so you have a better chance of splitting your sauce. So then your sauce will be all oily. This will be nice and thick. And it'll coat the chicken nicely. It's also, and then of course in the butter as well, it just takes a little bit of the heat off of the Frank's Red Hot and mellows it out a bit. So it's still a little bit spicy, nice and acidic, and it's also very, very rich. Okay, so we have our sauce ready to go here. Now we have a couple pieces of par-cooked bacon we're going to throw in just to get it hot. Now all we have to do now is build. We've dropped our buns in the toaster.
So what kind of buns are you using here?
It's a very rare occasion where you kind of you hit the nail on the head for a product like this on the first try. You usually go through a lot of trial and error.
Right.
We found it pretty quick, and we're so happy with the product. So we think it's just a fantastic bun for the compliments of chicken sandwich. It's a little bit crispy, or a little bit sweet, nice and soft. Like it's fantastic. So so we're so happy with it. So yeah, we'll do the buffalo one first. So a little blue cheese dressing.
Blue cheese. Oh. Man after my own heart.
So a good amount of blue cheese, mayo, buttermilk, and a little bit of lemon juice. Some iceberg lettuce. So we cut this fresh every day, none of the pre-bagged stuff.
Good stuff.
And we have our crispy chicken.
So right into that buffalo sauce.
Right into the buffalo sauce. Just swimming in there. And we don't want to disturb it too much. We don't want the little crispy bits to fall off, so we give it a quick little turnover.
So you're not letting it sit in there, you're just sort of dunking it, just coating it.
Real quick. There's enough flavor in the sauce.
Wow. Look at that.
Yeah. And then 2 strips of crispy bacon that we had in the oven. You can kind of give it a little bit of a press.
That is a sexy looking sandwich, if you ask me.
So then we have our classic. So we introduced this about a month into being open. Got us out of the gate. So we have ranch that we make in-house.
Okay.
Again, our good friend iceberg lettuce here. Iceberg's great because it gives you the crunch, gives you a little bit of relief. Kind of cleanses the palate because there's a lot of water in the lettuce. Some house-made bread and butter pickles. Cut through some of the richness. This one's nice and simple, just a big old piece of chicken right on top there. And then a liberal amount of ranch right on there, and boom.
So you've got your classic with ranch and pickles, and then you've got your buffalo with blue cheese, bacon, and your buffalo sauce.
Yep.
So which one should I jump into first?
I would say the buffalo.
Going to the buffalo? Okay, I'm gonna do this. A good burger and a good chicken sandwich is the kind of sandwich that you need to sort of put napkins under your elbows and rest them on, because that's the way it should be. So I'm going to apologize to everyone right up front for the way this might end up, but there's no other way to eat this kind of a sandwich. I'm ready for
Enjoy.
this. Oh, you're not kidding. So the iceberg does soften things up a little.
Yep.
But the your butter sauce, your buffalo sauce, has this perfect sort of mouthfeel. It really coats your palate, but it doesn't. The butter sort of almost softens everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Just it's.
And that blue cheese, what a compliment! What a compliment!
This makes you want to come back and have another bite over and over and over again.
Oh, and I just got a little bit of that salty bacon in there too to help to sort of cut some of that richness. But look at that. I don't care who you are. That is a sexy looking sandwich. Now this one here is your classic, right? So pickles, ranch, lettuce, straight up. Okay. As similar as both of these sandwiches are, they're also very different.
There's a lot of similarities, but you're also going to get a completely different flavor profile. So you can switch back and forth and get a different experience every single time you come.
The pickles in this are spectacular. I think that's the pickles and the ranch on here really complement each other extremely well. The heat is perfectly balanced in the buffalo sandwich, but both of it, I mean, you've got the base, you've got the winner, that chicken, that perfect.
Crispy
That perfect,
chicken.
crispy buttermilk chicken is exactly what I'd be looking for. I can tell you right now, you're going to see a lot of me with this sandwich.
Perfect.
Oh, I'm so glad, so happy. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to see how you make these beautiful, beautiful sandwiches. Brother man, always a pleasure.
Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Buffalo chicken sandwich, classic ranch and pickle chicken sandwich right here at the Pigeon in Mount Hope. This is Hamilton Eats. So if you like hot sauce, you need to try some of Dawson's. Dawson's hot sauce is found all over Hamilton in places like Mustard Seed Company and Denninger's. It's all made from scratch from natural, whole ingredients. Now we're gonna go meet Brody Dawson, the man behind the hot sauce. So behind the scenes, the man behind the hot sauce, this is Brody Dawson. Buds, I am so excited to be here. Thank you very, very much. Now you're gonna see this label all over the place, great flavors. Show me what you're making for us today.
We're making a new sauce today. We're making an ancho chipotle sauce. And we're gonna start by toasting our anchos, which are just our sun-dried poblanos.
Okay.
We're gonna put them on for about 2 minutes aside, equally toasting until we can see some bubbling and blistering before we switch them over and give them into their hydration stage, which is the second part.
So you're not putting any oil or anything in this, just straight dry pan?
Dry right onto the bottom of the pan, and it's going to toast them a little bit. So it's more of a toasting than a frying. Just the pan helps give us an equal surface to get them toasted equally.
What are you going to be looking for in these poblanos? Because there's no moisture left in these.
No, they're pretty, they're a little squeaky, but the one giveaway is some slight blistering. So you'll see on the bottoms of these things, they will start to slowly show signs, even this early on, of some lift. You can see one right there.
Yeah, I can see that. It actually starts to brighten the color up in
Yeah,
there.
it takes the dark red out and kind of brings it back to its like ripened state.
It's always a weird sensation and a weird sort of scenario to put something dry in a dry pan and not really feel like there's anything happening, but there's really a lot going on
You're
in
going
here.
to start to smell it, especially. So the toasting is going to get the air pretty fragrant. And when these are dried out, they have almost like a prune or like a dried cherry kind of a smell to them. So we're gonna start feeling that in the room. Not burnt, just like that slightly toasted.
Well, I'm getting sweetness right up front. Like right here on my nose, I'm getting a nice sort of sweet pepper going on.
That's good, that means we're going in the right direction.
Awesome, awesome. And this is great, because I don't do this kind of stuff. I mean, I make hot sauces, but you're a pro.
I do it a lot.
I'm amazed at how much life is coming out of these already.
Yeah, they almost start to like fill in with air from the heat. Like they start to reinflate almost. Like this one's a great example. Like look, it's almost like a full pepper again. We're done the toasting process now, so we're gonna put them all in one. And like they're getting softer too. So this is where we want to switch them from their stage now. Like some of them aren't quite as blistered as they could be, but I think them all kind of having an equal, some being more blistered, some being less, is probably the compromise we're gonna get from this kind of style. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring the pot we're gonna rehydrate them in, straight water, and we're gonna add these peppers to it while the water's cool, and then bring to a boil. So now we're gonna leave this uncovered until this water hits a boil. And when we hit a boil, we're gonna put on a lid and take it off the heat. It's starting to look like the first stages of a cup of orange pico.
It does look like tea.
And by the end of it, it's gonna be much darker, but it'll look like more like oversteeped tea than anything else, yeah.
Fantastic.
The water's almost up to a boil now. We
Right.
can see the leaching is starting to get a lot darker. So
It is
before it was
pulling a lot.
transparent, it's pulling a lot of color into the water. You can barely see through. And that's exactly what we want. So once this thing hits a full boil in the middle, we're gonna cap it off, push it back, and it's on to the next step, cooking our garlic.
Love it.
So our oil goes in. I wanna get all that oil out. It's pretty stubborn, you know what I mean?
Now, is this just extra virgin olive oil?
Yeah, just extra virgin olive oil is a very common base for a lot of our sauces. We love garlic, and we love oil. Like I said earlier, it's kind of like our heart and our veins for most of our sauces. So,
Well, I'm Italian, so trust me, I get this. Okay, now you didn't crush your garlic or chop your garlic. Why?
I like putting it in whole. It gets a more consistent cook across the board. So when we crush it, or if we were to like dice it, I find a lot of it ends up burning before it cooks. So we have
Right.
half it's burnt, half it's cooked, or it just simmered so slow you don't really get a full cook out of it. This way we can put on like a medium heat. We can get some nice blistering on the outside of the garlic, but the inside is still very smooth. So when we blend it, it becomes more of the body of the sauce, and
Right.
less of like part of like the chunks of the sauce if it's overcooked.
I like how deep you go into trying to build your flavors, because I mean, for something that has to stay consistent in a bottle,
Yeah.
that you're going to be using as a separate ingredient or a flavor component to build a dish, it's incredible that you've got so much thought and so much depth being built right from the ground up.
You have to, because a lot of hot sauces have to be shelf stable, so they have to last for 2 years, which means you're gonna either use vinegar to acidify,
Right.
or you can use other acidic products like citric acid to make it shelf stable. And those ingredients really pull a lot of life out of
Right.
some of the lovely ingredients like garlic and these ancho chilies. So the more intent you have in something being as good as it can possibly be, the
Right.
better your end product's going to be when you start adding things that might end up taking away from it a little bit from when you started it as.
That's fantastic. I love it.
And now moving on to our anchos, we're about 20 of 25 to a half hour in, and we're starting to see some very good results already. Anchos are quite mild. So the anchos are just a sun-dried poblano pepper, which is very, very mild if it has any recognizable heat at all. And cooking it really narrows that out. But whatever heat it does have in it helps add to this like nice little bouquet of flavors it has, especially when you dehydrate them. A lot of the heat we're gonna get from our sauce is the chipotles we're gonna throw in, which is our next step. These are chipotles that are soaking in adobo sauce. So they're even more rich, a little sweet, a little tomato paste in there, some garlic, and we're gonna mix that in with our frying garlic as well. We're gonna add our vinegar, we're gonna add our salt, and we're gonna wait till the anchos are done, and then we're gonna add it all in, we're gonna blend it up and get ourselves a nice little sauce. We're gonna bring these fellas over, now that they're all steeped and happy. We're gonna make a little bit of a mess moving these guys onto our plate, because we need to remove these stems.
Okay.
So we can put them on the plate and our cutting board, and we can remove them with a knife, or we can pluck them gently from the top.
What are you trying to avoid by pulling the stems?
The stems don't have anything to offer other
Okay.
than the pod it gives you from the plant.
Right.
So this is just like the last little remnant of that big plant that also doesn't taste very good if you want to eat it.
Okay.
It's just the pods we want, and we want to keep the seeds. A lot of recipes with anchos will call for you to pull this, slice this slightly open, and drag the seeds out with the blade of your
Right.
knife. But we like seeds at Dawson's. Seeds are good. All the insides here have a lot of great flavor, and the way we cook it and process it down, it doesn't offer any smoother variety by having them in and out,
Right.
because they puree quite nicely.
Amazing.
All right, so here's our finished toasted. You can see some of the toasting marks on it.
Right.
And now we're gonna add it to our sauce pot here.
This is the garlic and the chipotle.
Garlic, chipotle, now we have our ancho in as well. The vinegar's in there as well. So we have our broth here, and we're gonna put it through the strainer just to get any chunks of stuff out, things we don't want. Sometimes a stem or two might be stuck in the broth, and we don't want to throw that into our sauce. So throw it through.
Amazed at how rich looking that broth is.
Oh, it looks like a cup of coffee now. It's amazing. It's taken so much out of those dried ancho chilies that it's become its own thing.
It smells so good. The vinegar is not nearly as pungent as I thought
It's not
it
going
might
to stick
be.
out. Yeah, that's why we use as much as we have to get our pH to a safe point. Oh yeah, and that broth is combating that vinegar for who's got the most to say.
That's right.
And we give that a quick stir, and then we're on to blending. So we're gonna do a 2-phase blending. We're gonna blend it while it's at its medium heat now, then we're gonna boil it, and then we're gonna blend it again. Then we'll get a nice puree from it.
All right.
All right, so here's a bottle of what we made today. We usually let them sit for a little while,
Right.
so they cool down, they kind of absorb a little better, but we're gonna try them right off the top today.
Love it.
Let's give this ancho chipotle sauce an honest try. So we're gonna put them on our little spoons here. This is how we try them out.
It's got a good consistency as that came out of there too, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, nice and clean, nothing too major, right?
Yeah,
So
the oils aren't separating. There's no water runoff on the side. This is a nice clean
Cheers.
sauce. Cheers.
Here we go.
Yep, so it's got a little bit of bitterness to it. I think that's just because it's so fresh still. Mm-hmm. But the ancho is sitting on top a lot.
So I'm getting the smoke from it for sure.
The chipotles are rolling on the side.
The heat is really kind of subtle. Like, it's not crazy hot. I'm not the guy who's going to be eating the California Reapers or the ghost peppers and stuff like that. I like heat, but I'm all about flavor. I'm all about flavor and balance. This is really nice. The acidity is not quite as strong as I thought it might be, which is really nice for me because it lets all of the flavors from the anchos and the poblanos come out.
Yeah, well, the chipotle as well is a really strong flavor, anything that's been smoked. So that's going to take away a bit of the acidity that you're going to taste, like, or at least the note of it, because it's not going to be as strong if you have something that's stronger on top of it.
Right.
Like if this was just a poblano or an ancho sauce without any smokiness in it at all, the vinegar might be a little stronger. But we're going to keep going back because I'm going to be messing around with this one for a while.
That's really nice. Like, it's just got a perfect. So I want to put this on.
You can
I want to
feed
put
it.
this on. Yeah, I want to put it on everything. I want to put it on rice. I want to put it on things like chips. I would dip chips in this because it's not overpowering.
Yeah.
It's just got this beautiful sort of mid-tone to it, which is really, really comfortable.
And you saw what we put in it. It's mostly vegetables, a little bit of oil. The vinegar obviously is a stabilizer, but this is something that you could eat and probably wouldn't upset your stomach too much if you ate too much of it. But I'm going to find out because I'm going to eat a lot of the sauce today.
Now, this is the same sauce that you made before, so the same similar recipe. Now, why does this one look so much darker than the one that we just made?
So this is batch 1 and this is batch 2. So these are two different sauces on the same kind of concept. So they're both ancho chipotle sauces. But this one we made today has more ancho and less chipotle, and this one has more chipotle and less ancho. So kind of giving them a little bit of a swap in who leads in the flavor. So this one's really, really thick too. And it's been open for a little while. So see, it almost has like a 3-dimension to it. It sits on top like a little mountain.
For sure.
This one has a lot of body.
Now, you said this one has more of the chipotle, right?
Yeah, so it'll be a little spicier too as a result. And so you can taste this one's been sitting in itself a lot longer too. A little more rich. Chipotle is controlling
I'm
a little
actually
more.
finding that one to have a little bit more of a sweetness to it.
Yep. Just the chipotles for sure. There's a little bit of
Really
sugar
good.
in those.
And you're right, there is a little bit more heat to it, but it's still very welcoming. Like, it's not kicking me in the back of the throat. It actually sits very well on my palate.
Yeah.
And you're right, the consistency is a little bit different. This one has a little bit more body to it. The second batch, or phase 2 that you just made today, is a little bit smoother. But I think that, I wonder if that has to do with the fact that one's cool and the other one's got still just sort of settling.
It definitely takes like 24 hours before you want to get everything in honest opinion. I know that this one is going to end up being quite thick like this guy will.
Right.
And because this has been open, it's been oxidized a bit as well, so it's a little darker. I think by the end of the day, our colors won't be too much different than they are. This one might darken down a little bit. This one will be a little lighter if it were just in a bottle and not opened. And this one will become a little thicker, but I kind of enjoy the sweet smokiness of this one a little more than just like the bitter, kind of like coffee, tea, prune vibe we were getting from the anchos. So I might have a perfect balance by mixing these together.
Blend them together, right? Literally marry those two.
Yeah.
Now I gotta say, this is something that's a little bit out of my comfort zone because as a chef in the kitchen, I'm dealing with all sorts of things. But the laser focus and the science that you put into making sure that these flavors are unique and developed so deep right from the base, I'm blown away, Brody. I can't even tell you.
Thank you very much.
How excited I am to be able to taste a brand new Dawson's hot sauce right here on Hamilton Eats. Over half a century ago, this place opened. We're right here on King Street East at the Black Forest Inn. This place has been around for a long time and has stayed consistent and true to who they are. I'm so excited to be able to go into the kitchen. Let's go in and meet Chef Claudia. Here we are inside the kitchen at the Black Forest with Chef Claudia. I am so honored to be here today. I can't even tell you. Thank you so much for inviting me back here into Hamilton's probably most established restaurant. This is incredible. What are you going to make for me today?
I will make for you today our famous schnitzel, the Vienna schnitzel.
I'm so glad you said that. That's what I get every time I come here.
And I'm happy to make it for you.
Amazing.
Should we start?
Yes, please. Show me how this works.
Okay, we're gonna take our piece of pork.
Okay.
Then we're gonna pound it out a little bit.
And this helps to tenderize the meat.
Yes.
Okay.
Then we're gonna put some salt on. Not too much. Then we take the pork, put it in the flour, get it a nice coat, put it into the egg wash,
Beautiful.
get it nicely covered, and into the breadcrumbs.
Now, as I can see here, you guys aren't shy with how your portion size either. This is not a small piece of
No.
pork. This is beautiful. This is one of those things that has kept people coming back here for over 50 years, is
Yes,
how
they do.
incredible this is.
So there we are, that's ready to go.
And then
From
you take it
there-
from here, what do we do with it?
We're gonna go from here and put it on the flat grill and cook it there. And there I go, I put a little bit on top,
Okay.
and that's it. We're gonna let it sit there.
And it's just a little bit of oil that you're using. You don't
Yes.
use butter, you don't use anything,
No.
just classic, simple
Simple oil, yes.
That's amazing. I mean, when you take a look at this operation here, remember this place has been around for 52 years, and this amazing woman here, Claudia, has been here for 24 years. This recipe has never changed, and that's why this place has been around for so long. And people come back for this. I come here for this amazing schnitzel. So what are you doing now? What are you looking for
I'm
with your
checking
schnitzel?
if it's getting brown underneath.
Okay.
And just move it over to more heat.
Okay, so your flat top here, you've got, so like most kitchens, like most restaurants, there's hot spots and you can adjust the temperature on it. So
Yes.
you're moving it over to a little bit more heat?
Yes.
Okay, so to give it more color?
Give it more color and make sure it's really cooked through.
Excellent. My favorite part about this is how nice and crispy it gets with how tender and delicious it is right in the middle. So good.
In the meantime, our schnitzel is cooking. We're gonna prepare the spätzle. So I have some margarine in there, and I have my spätzle here. You
This
know,
is so beautiful.
traditional European spätzle. I'm gonna put them in there.
This is very authentic and very
Yes,
simple recipe as
it
well.
is.
So how do you make your spätzle?
The spätzle are made with flours, milk, eggs, and then you put a touch of nutmeg and
Right.
salt inside.
Nutmeg and salt. So it's
Yes.
it's not really a pasta.
No.
It's not like a pierogi. I mean, it is
No,
very
and it's
unique.
not a gnocchi. There's no other word than spätzle.
You know what? It's just what it is.
It is exactly.
And what are you looking for with this? Are you wanting color?
You know, it depends on. Some people want to have them just white. Some people, I like them with a little bit color on.
I love how it actually plumps up and
They
it
do.
it fluffs up a
Yeah.
little bit. That's
in
the
the
eggs in
margarine,
there.
and you know, if you let them go slowly, they're getting more puffier.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not too tough, not too crispy, but little
Beautiful.
fluffy. Okay, now we're ready to plate our schnitzel.
I can even hear how crispy it is just with your tongs. That's beautiful.
We're gonna put the spätzle onto it.
Wow. Look how it's plumped up.
And we give them a nice decoration. And of course, some lemon. And some parsley. And ready you are.
This is my favorite part. Everybody knows this, but it's so easy and it's so simple, yet it's perfect every time. Little squeeze of fresh lemon is all you need. You can even hear it as you cut through it. It's crisp, got beautiful and moist. There's so much flavor in this. It's perfect every time. Every single time I have this, it tastes exactly the same, cooked to perfection, and absolutely delicious. Now, this is the side that I get with it every single time because it's always so plump and the texture is just amazing. It's crispy, yet it's delicate and so flavorful. This is incredible. Chef Claudia, I can't thank you enough for the opportunity to come back into one of the most famous kitchens in this entire city to show me and cook for me one of the most popular famous dishes around. This is Hamilton Eats.
Thank you.
Thank
It was
you
my pleasure.
so
Thanks
much.
for coming.
Thank you so much. Unbelievable. So beautiful.